The glass shatters before Jessica Williams hits the ground. 3 cocktails, expensive whiskey, all of it crashes across the marble floor as her knees buckle in the middle of the most dangerous nightclub in Chicago. Bodies press against polished surfaces. Cigar smoke hangs thick in the air. Nobody notices the bartender falling. Nobody except him. But what Matthew Russo sees when he catches her will change both their lives forever. And the secret she's hiding? It's darker than anyone could imagine. Matthew Russo moves faster than a man his size should be able to move. His hands catch her before gravity does. One arm wraps around her waist, the other supports her back. She weighs nothing. That's the first thing he notices. This woman in his arms weighs almost nothing at all. Her head lolls against his shoulder. Her skin is cold, too cold for August. And when her sleeve rides up, he sees them. The bruises. Purple-black fingerprints circling her wrist like ugly jewelry. Yellow-green marks higher up where older injuries are fading. And 3 perfect circular scars on her inner forearm. Burn marks. Cigarette burns, deliberately placed. Matthew Russo has built an empire on violence. He knows what inflicted pain looks like. He's seen it. He's caused it. But something about these marks on this unconscious woman makes rage flood through him so completely he has to force himself to breathe. "Clear the way," he says. His voice isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. Every person between him and the stairs moves immediately. Matthew carries Jessica up to the 2nd floor, where management conducts business away from cameras and crowds. His office sits at the end of a quiet hallway. Dark wood, leather furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. He lays her on the couch carefully, pulls off his suit jacket and drapes it over her like a blanket. She's unconscious still, her breathing shallow and uneven. But what Matthew doesn't know yet is that saving this woman will put a target on both their backs. And the man who hurt her? He's connected to people in Matthew's world who've been waiting for exactly this kind of weakness. Dr. Morrison arrives within 20 minutes. Silver hair, calm demeanor. He's treated bullet wounds in this office before. But when he examines Jessica, his expression tightens with something closer to anger than professional concern. "Severe malnutrition," he says quietly. "Dehydration. Old fractures that didn't heal properly. This woman hasn't eaten a real meal in days, maybe longer. Can you help her? She needs immediate intervention, IV fluids, medical monitoring. This level of neglect doesn't happen by accident." After the doctor leaves, Matthew sits in the leather chair across from the couch. He should go back downstairs. He has meetings, business that can't wait. But he doesn't move. He watches Jessica sleep and thinks about his sister Sophia. 17 years old when her boyfriend beat her to death in a parking lot. Matthew had been in London handling a weapons deal. Sophia had called asking for help. He'd told her he'd deal with it when he got back. 4 days later, she was dead. He'd arrived at JFK to find his mother hysterical and his baby sister in the morgue. The boyfriend disappeared within 48 hours. They found pieces of him scattered across 3 counties. It didn't bring Sophia back. Nothing would ever bring her back. And now, this stranger was unconscious on his couch with bruises that told a story he knew by heart. But what Jessica reveals when she wakes up will be far worse than Matthew imagined. Jessica wakes slowly, painfully. The first thing she registers is that she's not on the floor. There's a blanket over her that smells like cedar and expensive cologne. An IV is taped to her arm. Panic hits immediately. A voice speaks from somewhere to her left. "Easy, you're safe." Jessica turns her head. A man sits in a chair watching her. Dark hair, eyes the color of burnt caramel. She recognizes him instantly. Everyone who works at the club knows Matthew Russo when he walks through the door. "What happened?" Her voice comes out rough. "You collapsed. I caught you. A doctor examined you." He leans forward slightly. "When's the last time you ate?" "This morning," she lies. "Try again." Something about the way he says it makes honesty feel safer than deception. Jessica swallows hard. "Friday. I had toast on Friday." Today is Monday. Matthew's expression doesn't change, but she sees his hands curl into fists before deliberately relaxing. "What's your name?" "Jessica. Jessica Williams." "Jessica, I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to understand that I already know the answer. I just need to hear you say it." He pauses. "Are you safe where you're living?" The question hangs in the air. Outside, thunder rolls across the Chicago skyline. "Yes," Jessica whispers. "Try again." Her eyes burn. She looks down at her hands, at the bruises circling her wrists like handcuffs. "His name is David," she hears herself say. "David Chen. We've been together 9 months." But what Jessica doesn't know is that David Chen isn't just some abusive boyfriend. He's connected to Matthew's enemies, and the videos he has of her, they're about to become the most dangerous weapons in a war she didn't even know existed. The truth comes spilling out. How David wasn't always like this. How 3 months in, things changed. Small things first. Checking her phone, wanting to know where she was. Then the anger started. Then the cigarettes. Last month, he started using cigarettes, Jessica says, pulling her sleeves down. Matthew stands abruptly, walks to the windows, his shoulders rigid. When he speaks again, his voice is colder than she's ever heard. "You're not going back there." "I have to." "No." He turns around. "That part of your life is over as of right now. You can't just decide that." "Watch me." Jessica tries to stand. The IV line stops her. "You don't understand. David has videos of me. Bad videos. He said if I leave, he'll send them to everyone I know. He'll destroy my life." "What kind of videos?" The question is quiet but intense. Jessica forces herself to meet his eyes. 6 months ago, David started giving me pills. He said they were for anxiety. I didn't know they were something else until I was already dependent. One night I was so out of it I couldn't stand. He recorded it, recorded me saying things, doing things I don't even remember. He has maybe a dozen videos like that. Matthew's expression goes dangerously still. Where does he keep them?
His laptop, his phone, a cloud server somewhere. He showed me once. Made sure I understood he had backups. Here's what's going to happen. Matthew crosses the room, crouches in front of her so they're eye level. In a few minutes, 2 of my men are going to arrive. You're going to go with them to an apartment I own. It's secure. You'll stay there while I deal with David. He'll know I'm gone. He'll release the videos. He won't have time. The certainty in his voice makes her breath catch. What are you going to do to him? Nothing he doesn't deserve. What Matthew doesn't tell her is that destroying those videos will cost him $75,000, or that David's arrest will trigger a chain of events that brings his deadliest enemy right to their door. The Riverside apartment becomes Jessica's safe house. Marcus and Vincent guard her 24/7. But safety feels like a prison when you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. The first night, she doesn't sleep at all. She sits in the corner with her back against the wall, watching the door, waiting for David to kick it open. But David never comes. Matthew does. Every morning at 9 o'clock, like clockwork, he arrives with food. The first time, he brings soup and bread from an Italian restaurant. Jessica stares at it like it might be poisoned. "You need to eat," he says. "I'm not hungry." "You're starving." She turns away from him. Matthew stands there for a full minute before leaving the food and walking out without another word. By the 5th day, she's eating whatever he brings. 2 weeks in, she actually looks forward to his visits. But while Jessica's been hiding in this apartment, Matthew's tech team has been working around the clock. And what they discover about David's connections will change everything. 3 weeks after Jessica collapsed in the club, Matthew's head of digital security walks into his office with a laptop. "We found them, all of them." "Are you certain?" 99%. David used 3 different cloud services, amateur encryption. There's a 3rd server that's proving difficult, but we'll have it within 48 hours. How many videos total? 14, all showing Jessica in various states of incapacitation, all recorded without her knowledge or consent. Matthew's hands curl into fists. "Can you destroy them?" "Once we have access to that 3rd server, yes, completely." 2 days later, Matthew calls Jessica and asks her to come to his penthouse. He pulls out his laptop and sets it on the coffee table, opens a program showing multiple windows, each one displaying a file directory. "These are David's files. Watch." He executes a command. One by one, the video files begin disappearing, completely erased, the data overwritten with random code that makes recovery impossible. Jessica watches files vanish and starts to cry, silent tears streaming down her face. "They're gone," Matthew says quietly. "Every copy, every backup, every fragment." The sob that escapes her is part relief, part disbelief. "How much did this cost you?" she asks through tears. He hesitates. $75,000. Her knees go weak. "I'll pay you back." "No. I can't just accept." "Jessica," his voice is firm, "this isn't a loan. This is a problem that needed solving, and it's solved." What she doesn't know is that David's arrest has already created ripples. His connections to a mid-level crime family, his loudmouth claims in lockup about knowing things, about having information that could hurt important people. Matthew offers Jessica a job managing inventory at his restaurant, Bellinopoly. $4,500 a month plus health insurance, 3 times what she made at the club. 3 weeks later, she's sitting in the back office surrounded by spreadsheets when she finds something that changes everything. "Tony," she calls to the restaurant manager, "can you look at something?" She points to her screen. "Our supplier for olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Look at what we're being charged versus what we're actually receiving." The invoices say premium imported oil, $22 per liter, but the bottles in storage are domestic blend, worth maybe $7 per liter. "I calculated the total. We've overpaid by nearly $50,000. 20 minutes later, Matthew walks through the restaurant's front door. Jessica shows him everything: spreadsheets, photos, invoices highlighted in 3 different colors. "You found this in 3 weeks?" he asks. "I noticed the discrepancy last week, but I wanted to be sure before I said anything." Something like pride flickers across his face. "I'll handle this personally." But discovering fraud in his restaurant is about to become the least of their problems. Because the supplier stealing from him, he's connected to someone far more dangerous. When Matthew returns, he makes her an offer that will change everything. "You have a talent for finding problems. I want to use it. Review books for all my businesses. Look for discrepancies." He names a number that makes her head spin. $6,000 a month. "Why are you doing this?" she asks. "Because you're good at it. Because I need someone I can trust. And because you deserve a chance to build something better." What she doesn't know is that Matthew has been watching her carefully, watching how she thinks, how she's rebuilt herself. And he's been watching the way his chest tightens when she smiles. He's falling for her, has been since the night he caught her falling. And that terrifies him more than any business rival ever could. Because in his world, love is the most dangerous weakness of all. 5 months after the night Matthew caught Jessica falling, everything changes. She's closing Bellinopoly alone, the evening staff already gone. She's in the back office when she hears the rear delivery door open. "Tony, did you—" 3 men stand just inside the door. Not employees, not customers. They wear dark clothes, faces hard. "Don't," One of them says, stepping forward. A scar runs through his left eyebrow. "We just want to talk. The restaurant is closed. You need to leave. We're not here for food." Another man moves to block her exit. "We have questions about your boss, about Matthew Russo." They want information about Matthew. "I just manage inventory," Jessica says carefully. "I don't know anything about Mr. Russo's business." The scarred man smiles. "It doesn't reach his eyes. We heard you're special to him. That means you see things, hear things. Someone who wants to know about Russo's offshore accounts, his federal contacts, the judges he's paying." "I don't know anything about that." The scarred man moves closer, crowding her space. His hand shoots out, grips her upper arm hard enough to hurt.
The world tilts. Suddenly, Jessica isn't in the restaurant kitchen. She's back in her old apartment. David's fingers digging into her arm, the smell of his cologne, the sound of her own begging. She can't breathe, can't move. Every muscle locks up as panic floods her system. Then the front door of the restaurant bursts open. Matthew's voice cuts through the kitchen like a blade. "Let her go." The three men turn. Matthew stands in the doorway with 4 of his own men behind him, all of them radiating lethal intent. His eyes find Jessica, take in the hand gripping her arm, the terror on her face. His expression goes absolutely murderous. "This is a misunderstanding," the scarred man says, releasing Jessica and stepping back with hands raised. "In my restaurant, after hours, with your hands on her?" Matthew's voice is deadly quiet. "That's not a misunderstanding. That's a declaration. Paulo just wanted—" "You tell Paulo that if he ever sends anyone near her again, there won't be negotiation, there won't be discussion, there will be war." The scarred man's jaw tightens. "You'd risk everything over a woman? Try me and find out." What neither of them knows yet is that Paulo Grimaldi has been planning this move for months, that Jessica wasn't just a random target, and that the war Matthew just declared is exactly what Paulo wanted. 2 weeks later, Jessica is reviewing financial records when something catches her eye. Irregular transfers from Matthew's import companies, small amounts spread across multiple accounts. She digs deeper. Someone is skimming money, systematically, has been for at least 3 years. The total approaches $400,000. Then she finds something worse. Encrypted emails between someone in Matthew's organization and an unknown contact, discussing shipping routes, delivery schedules, security details. She traces the emails back to their source and feels her stomach drop. Williams Thompson, Matthew's accountant for 8 years, the man who knows every shell company, every holding, every carefully hidden operation. The man Matthew trusts with everything. Jessica goes straight to Matthew's office, spreads the documents across his desk. "Your accountant is stealing from you. $400,000 over 3 years, but that's not the worst part." She pauses. "He's selling information to Paulo." Matthew's hands curl into fists. "Williams has been with me since I took over." An hour later, Williams Thompson sits in a chair with 2 guards behind him, looking terrified but defiant. "Tell her what you told me," Matthew says. Williams' eyes dart to Jessica. "I have insurance. A complete dossier on every illegal thing Matthew's done for the past decade. Names, dates, locations, everything." Matthew moves so fast, Jessica barely sees it. His hand wraps around Williams' throat. "Boss," Marcus warns. He releases him, steps back. "Where is it?" he demands. "Safe location, multiple backups." Williams straightens his shirt with shaking hands. "If anything happens to me, if I don't check in every 72 hours, it goes automatically to the FBI. Your empire collapses, and you go to prison for life." The room goes silent. "I want $3 million and safe passage out of the country. Then the dossier stays buried and I disappear." But what Williams doesn't know is that the woman standing behind Matthew is better at finding patterns than he ever was at hiding them, and she's about to prove it. After Williams leaves, Matthew slams his fist into the wall hard enough to crack the plaster. 8 years, he says, voice raw. I trusted him with my life. Jessica approaches carefully. What if we could find the dossier? He said there are multiple backups. Maybe, but I might be able to find where he's storing them. She pulls up her phone. Every time he sent those encrypted emails, he logged in from the same location, Milwaukee. Always the same IP block. She pulls up bank records. Regular wire transfers to a woman named Sarah Mitchell, real estate agent, no criminal record. I'd bet anything she has those files without knowing what they are. Matthew studies the information. If you're right, if we can recover those files before he checks in again, he loses all leverage. That night, Matthew assembles a team. They drive to Milwaukee, locate Sarah Mitchell's house. Jessica monitors remotely with a tech team. She navigates through Sarah's file system, finds a hidden folder, protected by encryption. Got something. Encrypted folder that doesn't match her normal usage patterns. The encryption cracks. It's real, Jessica says quietly. The dossier, all of it. Jessica initiates the transfer, executes the destruction protocol, overwrites the files multiple times until they're completely unrecoverable. Done, she says. He has nothing now. We have everything. The next day, Williams arrives expecting payment. Instead, he finds evidence of his own betrayal spread across Matthew's desk. You underestimated the woman who found your theft in the first place. She's better at patterns than you ever were at hiding them. I have other copies. No, you don't. You have nothing now, Williams. No leverage, no protection, no future. 2 weeks later, life settles into something approaching normal. Jessica and Matthew fall into comfortable rhythms. Mornings reviewing business together, evenings cooking, nights tangled together in sheets that smell like home. One evening, Matthew opens his safe, pulls out a brass key on a simple chain. This opens this safe. It also opens 2 others in secure locations. Everything I own of real value is accessible with this key. Jessica's breath catches. Why are you showing me this? Because I'm giving it to you. He places the key in her palm. I updated my will last week. If anything happens to me, you inherit the legitimate businesses. This isn't about money or property. It's about trust. Tears burn in her eyes. You're giving me your whole life. I'm sharing it with you. There's a difference. She throws her arms around his neck. I love you. I should have said it before now, but I love you. He pulls back to look at her. I love you too. From the moment I caught you falling, I think some part of me knew you were going to change everything. Later that night, Jessica stands on Matthew's balcony, the key hanging around her neck. Matthew joins her, wraps his arms around her waist from behind. Do you ever regret it? Saving me that night? Never. Best decision I ever made. Even with all the complications? Especially because of them. They proved we could survive anything together. Jessica turns in his arms, looks up at the man who caught her when she fell, who destroyed her demons, who gave her not just safety, but a future worth living. Then let's keep walking, together, wherever it leads. He kisses her, deep and certain, a promise sealed in the space between heartbeats. And in the city below, life moves forward. Chaotic, dangerous, beautiful. But up here, 6 months after a bartender fainted in front of a mafia boss, 2 people stand together and choose each other over and over again.